filing suit against the Department of Homeland Security on a number of issues. One that you would like to see is the reinstatement of the Remain in Mexico policy that was practiced by the Trump administration. Please explain.
Well, John, thank you for having me on. And we do have actually 3 courses of litigation going on right now. And that's because the Biden administration has essentially decriminalized and incentivized people coming over here. So there were various Trump administration policies, including this Remain in Mexico policy, which said that if you want to come here, you have to go to Mexico and you have to apply in Mexico. What the Biden administration has done is by capriciously and arbitrarily rescinding these policies, stopping building the wall, they are allowing people to come here and essentially opening the borders. And by doing that, it's overwhelming the system. And you don't have to believe me. We know recently, yesterday, there was a decision out of Texas where a Texas federal judge recognized that what the Biden administration doing was contributing to this crisis. What they're doing is arbitrary. And we know that if you look at the numbers, your report just indicated that these are record numbers of people coming across the border. Just 1 million people have come across the border and apprehended illegally coming across our border since Secretary Mayorkas took over. That's more than the entire population of Biden's home state of Delaware.
Well, and that's the number that we have located. There is certainly a much larger number of people who made it across the border and never got caught.
Yeah, well, it's estimated, John, that there's about 1,000 gotaways, is what they call them a day. And the viewers have to be asking themselves, well, if we know in places like Texas and Arizona, people are coming across and literally surrendering, Border Patrol has to process them, get out of the field, and the cartels are expanding their empires, pushing more drugs across the border and poisoning their neighborhoods. And then you have these other people that are trying not to be apprehended. So what's up with them? Are they MS-13? Or are they criminal elements? Are they gangs? They're obviously up to no good. And so that's the problem. What the Biden administration has done is deliberately and intentionally created this crisis at the border, and it's putting Americans in harm's way. And whether it's because of the COVID numbers, we know the estimates of up to 20% of the people coming across are COVID positive, whether it's the cartels enriching themselves, whether it's the more than 200% increase in fentanyl coming across our southern border, make no mistake, Americans are dying because of Joe Biden's deliberate policies.
We heard that statement, I guess, if you will, that those remarks from the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who apparently did not know he was being recorded, and he was fairly candid in saying, you know, the situation is unsustainable. Your governor, Doug Ducey, had this to say in response. He says, "It is time for Secretary Mayorkas to resign and for him to be replaced with someone who will tell the American people the truth publicly, stand up to the radical activists inside the Biden-Harris administration, and once and for all, end the crisis at the southern border." It seems like a lot of people in this administration have just kind of thrown up their hands. They're busy doing other stuff. You know, President Biden is at Camp David this weekend. They don't seem to be terribly concerned about what's going on at the southern border.
Well, I do believe that the Biden administration has systematically tried to ignore the crisis, even though they've created the crisis, hoping it'll go away. And it won't. And that's the reality. Even Secretary Mayorkas says it's unsustainable. We all know that. Part of the problem, and I think part of the reason why people get so frustrated with Washington, D.C., John, is because people talk. People write letters, they talk. But the question is, what are you doing? You don't judge a person by what they say, but what they have done. And I just hope that there's more people out there, like some of my AG colleagues, that have continued to join me in filing lawsuits, doing everything we can to try to stop the Biden administration from creating chaos and danger in our communities. And so the time for words is done. It's time for actions. And the Biden administration has to accept responsibility and actually do something to enforce existing law and keep our community safe. And if they don't, I and my colleagues are going to continue to see them in federal court and file lawsuits and do everything we can with the tools in our toolbox to hold the Biden administration accountable and protect our kids.
Just 15 seconds left, but do you think these state lawsuits to, for instance, force the reconstruction, the resumption of the construction of the wall, you think those can be successful?
I hope they will be successful. They should be successful. And God forbid, God help us if they're not, because what the Biden administration is doing is putting Americans in danger, and we need to do everything we can to secure our borders, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to make that happen. And that's why we're filing these lawsuits, John.
The Attorney General for the state of Arizona, Mark Brnovich. General Brnovich, thank you.